bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Broadcasting live from the attic. You can check out the website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. You can check out my YouTube channel and find me on Facebook. Telephone number is down at 217-917-4405. If you don't want to call and be part of the show, please don't do that. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show. And as always, I'm your host, Ho Ho. Yeah, so don't call. It's okay. What happened was, Spreakers, they did an update or something. I don't know. I've played around with it. I've done some stuff. I crashed my computer. It was a good time. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is right now with it. Maybe it's something on my end. I don't know. But, Brandon hosted the Machine Radio show. He was having issues yesterday on his Spreaker. So I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that's something that they get figured out quickly. Maybe I just got to shut her down, uninstall it, and then reinstall Spreaker Studio. I don't know. That's my next step. I'll be giving that a shot. Trying that, see if... Yeah. And I am joined in studio today by none other than Ray.
Hello.
Hello, Ray.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am much better. The Black Death is 98% gone.
That is awesome. You know, you really haven't been coughing too much today, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, probably.
Shit. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm not cussing. Damn it.
Yeah. You're not supposed to do that.
I'm not supposed to do that.
No.
Oh, no. Ugh.
Are you out?
Well, my battery is dead.
Oh, no.
My battery is dead. I am a vapor. I love it. It's awesome. Dude, okay, I ain't going to tell you that. I can't tell you that. That's a bad deal. I ain't going to do that.
Can you do a 5-hour show without your vape?
Dude, I got my batteries charging right behind me. I'll get this. Besides, I'm not doing a 5-hour show. It is not going to happen. 4 hours was holy crap. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
That's So, welcome Mixer, welcome Periscope, welcome YouTubes, welcome Facebooks, welcome Twitch. Yeah, welcome everybody. Unfortunately, Spreaker couldn't join us today. Oh well.
So how are you doing, sir?
Dude, I'm actually not bad. Not bad. I gotta fart again. But I really don't want to do that right now. I mean, I'm afraid that there might be some issues,
There's
these
always
little
a first
happy
time.
endings, but yeah, I've not done any, I've not soiled my britches. Dude, okay, I heard I had a good question the other day, or earlier today. If you eat Tide Pods and you poo your pants, is it going to, is that going to mess up your underwear? Leave a messed up stain on your underwear? I'm like, well, no, but, it's not going to leave a stain in your underbritches. It'll just be a clean spot in your underbritches, because now you'll have a spot on your underbritches that's super clean. I'm just saying.
Save on laundry detergent that way, too. You just
Right?
throw them right in the wash. You don't even have to put any extra in.
Exactly. I mean, it's just so many things that can just be amazing just by eating Tide.
Wow.
And they also have juice boxes now.
Really?
Yep. I seen that meme on Facebook. Juice boxes now available in Tide.
I seen the Clorox in a soda can. Says
Yeah.
Wash down your Tide Pods with Clorox.
They're making all kinds of good things, And I mean, if you're having issues with drinking out of straws, just use Preparation H orally, and that'll give you just awesome. It's like a gasket fitting for a straw. I mean, these are the things that they've come up with. I mean, they have a chocolate pudding dispenser underneath your oil pan on your vehicle. They've got nice orange. I don't even remember what they called that crap. The radiator. Your radiator juice.
Right.
There was a name for it that they said. I don't even remember what it was now. I've slept since then.
Wow. How's your supercomputer going?
Done built, waiting on a case. And of course, I've found some more stuff that I just have to have.
Of course.
I have. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. You say, of course, but it's like the dollar amount is actually dropping because I'm not getting this. Instead, I'm getting this and two of them. And now I'm also getting this. But I've still lowered my price.
I'm still going to look up online if there's such a thing as techaholics.
There might be. But, I mean, even still, though, I mean, it's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby, but it's still a hobby. And obviously, I mean, I did, update my camera, so I do have,
that is awesome.
More clarity and, magic spirit fingers.
That is such difference.
Stupid. Oh yeah,
in the quality.
Not quite 100% what I'm wanting, but just 100 times better than what I had. So
Right.
I'm definitely very excited about it. I'm getting two of these stupid things because I'm just retarded because I have problems.
I went downstairs and got a drink, and I really love this mug. It has the Weaponized Sloth Productions logo all over it.
Oh, you got to hold that up a little bit better so it can be seen on the... It can't be seen very good on the camera. Well, let's just put it this way. It's an awesome... speaking of Weaponized Sloth Productions,
Beverage not included.
Beverage not included. So, speaking of Weaponized Sloth Productions,
Yes.
let me mute my phone here right quick.
Okay.
I'm going to put it on vibrate because it'll just make some amazing soundages when it goes off. Just wait, hold on here to see if you can hear that.
Ooh.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. Let me do it like this. Hold on. Okay.
Ooh.
There's things wrong with me. So, Brandon, host of the Machine Radio Show, him and Mr. Vacker, they have gotten the shirts for the Machine Radio Show. Roger did those, and those you can see those if you want to see what they look like. They are available for sale and whatnot. I know he mentioned that that they have an order already for like 10 shirts, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, you can go to the Machine Radio Show on YouTube, and I'm not even sure where else he's at. I mean, I know he's on Twitch, and I'm pretty sure he's on Mixer and whatnot, so I might throw a link in there somewhere so you can see those, or at least link a show or something. But yesterday, he had the shirts, and they look pretty sharp. I mean, it's pretty good. And it even comes in couch cover size, for those, fluffy people like moi. Oh, wow. No. Should I? No.
Should you what?
No. No.
I'm scared. Oh, go for it.
Okay, all right. It's story time.
Tell us a story, ho-ho.
I will tell you a story. So, don't you guys love just, amazing, embarrassing crap? Well, I do. So, I had a leaking toilet. Now you know where I'm going with this. I had a leaking toilet. So, landlord came by, fixed that, and he's talking to my roommate, and he's just like, it seems that this, it wasn't this that happened, it was this that happened, and this that happened, and it looks like it was from this. And so my roommate, in perfect, amazing form, was like, so what you're telling me is Ho-Ho's too fat for the toilet.
Well.
Oh, the landlord died laughing. I mean, he did. Frank, he's a good guy. Oh, man, he did the classic knee slap thing. I mean, he was like, I wasn't going to put it like that, but, I about died laughing. I was like, yes, that is amazing. So what I'm going to have to end up doing is getting industrial strength toilet gasket thingy. Fluffy friendly, fat guy tested, and fat guy approved. No, I don't have it yet.
Well, as we said, it could have been worse. You could have been like sitting on it and then like
right.
End
I mean,
up
it
on
could
the
have been
first
like
floor.
a weak, floor joist or something, and
Down she goes.
That's a bad deal. That's a
Yeah.
bad deal. Wow, these are the things that happens, and I think about, and my mind goes through, and whatnot. Yeah.
Always interesting.
Oh, always, all time. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll have the case back in a week or so. Hoping, because I've got everything ready to put together. And as soon as I do,
Skynet
glory
Boo
time.
online.
And then, of course, one of the things I got is not even going to be compatible on the computer that I'm using right now. The Stream Desk, not even compatible on Windows 7. So until I get the new computer, I can't even use that. So I'll have it. I'll even plug it in. I'll look at it. I'll press the buttons. It'll be amazing, but it'll be worthless. It won't be able to do anything. So it'll be like, it'll suck. I'll cry. I'll cry like a girl. It'll be amazing. So, but yeah. So, all right, guys, what we got going on for the show today? Going to be talking news stuff, some stuff about Trump, the wall, a little bit on the FISA memo, the stock market stuff even. And, of course, on the last segment, we are also going to be doing movies and whatnot. Didn't actually, see anything in tech. I mean, I really wasn't going through a lot of tech stuff, different things. I know there was a screw up in with like a couple of the Samsung Galaxy phones that they were getting Oreo operating system on it. It was updated to the Oreo version, which was, totally unintentional, considering the Oreo is supposed to be the operating system for the more for the budget phones and whatnot. So I mean, it was like an unintentional. Oops, we didn't mean to screw up you guys' stuff, and I mean lose functionality in the phone too because the Oreo isn't, just under appreciated or something. I don't know, weird stuff. Well, okay, I understand it. Tech stuff, whatnot, geeks. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when I return, we'll actually get into this and crack open a cold one. Dr. Pepper, that is. I'm so weird. Ooh, was your frame in the cup? Was you trying to...
I love this cup. I mean, get a tight shot on that. It's Weaponized Sloth Productions on one side, and then the Ho-Ho Show on the other.
And of course, these products will be available come the 1st of next month at Weaponized the Sloth Productions website that we get up and going. I ain't going to release the name of that right now, but it is coming.
All right.
It's just not here yet, but it will be. So, a couple minutes. Be right back.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'm back.
I will never send troops anywhere on a mission of that kind without telling them that if somebody shoots at them, they can darn well shoot back.
That's right.
Amen.
Shoot him back. Shoot him back. Welcome back to the Ho-Ho Show. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check my thing, whatever, which I checked, which is good. So that's cool. Welcome and stuff. Yeah, welcome back to the Ho-Ho Show. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Now I got to bring up my Oh, yeah. We might as well just dive right into this stuff right here.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So, this first headline is from, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you know what? If I don't, I need to do that again. I did that last time. You know, got everything put in there, and then I didn't even go into it and open it up. And, yeah, I'm ridiculous sometimes. There we go. All right, so this next headline comes from, I did it again. I don't know why I did that. Comes from, I don't even know. Where did 535 ESPN? Really? This is from ESPN. I'm using news from ESPN. Really? All right, so this headline says, and of which case, you know what? I use Flipboard. It is my absolute go-to hub for anything, everything, and all things news. Oh, yeah. Did you like that? It sounded good, didn't it? Wow.
Sounded
all right,
newsy.
anyway. Sounded what?
Sounded newsy.
Newsy, right? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I got this.
I've been going to ask. I'm not going to ask.
Just in case you guys didn't know, there's something wrong with me. I'm a strange individual. Anyway, this just in. This headline, yeah, whatever. The shutdown lesson people seem to have trouble learning. Of course, you know, just had a vote, like at midnight. Well, I don't know if it was a vote. I'm not sure exactly when they voted. I know they voted in time, but, you know, it's one of them things that everybody, all they do is just play the blame game. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. Yada, yada, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with what the people want, nothing to do with what we actually want out of our government officials. It's what they want. And of which case, that's a lesson that they don't seem to understand, is that we're sick and tired of the games. Let's just get it done. Quit your complaining. Quit your backroom dealing. You know, stop it. Just stop it.
Right.
True that?
True that.
True that. Yeah. I don't even remember what this thing was saying on it. I skimmed through it, read a little bit of it. Basically about the, when, you know, them guys picking winners and losers just takes us off as the American people. Of course it does. You know, and so many, well, there actually is a lot of information in here. I really didn't go all the way through this article. You know what? I'm not going to do that because, you know, I'll end up doing it at some point in time. I might even like revisit this article tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to revisit this article tomorrow. So scratch that of what I just said on, you know, this article. Scratch that. Just remove it. Yeah. Just remove that. So this next headline, Trump signs a budget deal. He did. They went ahead and, all right, let me just get into the article. This one was from CNN Politics. Of course, this is of course. Trump signs massive budget deal after Congress votes to reopen the government, which is like about stinking time. Oh, yeah. I don't know why there was two of those in there. Well, okay. Maybe I do know why there's two of those in there. So, yeah. So the House of Representatives passed the budget, 240 to 130, or I'm sorry, 186. Yeah, there's some other numbers in here and whatnot, but Trump went ahead and signed it into office. No, there's like 3 or 4 different articles that I got on this that kind of, you know, that was thrown into here and whatnot, and even a tweet that I had read from, you know, the president about it, and it's one of them things. Let's just go ahead and go into the meat about this because, you know, the numbers. I mean, like, yes, okay. Numbers matter, but at the same time, we really shouldn't be surprised about, you know, what we were seeing in Congress and whatnot, you know, because of course they all want, you know, these different things. Of course, you got the you know, the talks about Nancy Pelosi standing for, you know, 8 hours in order to try to filibuster the thing. And, you know, she's standing because she wants DACA.
Right.
You know, she was sitting down for the State of the Union, refusing to stand for anything, you know, and just having that huge look of disgust on her face to the entire thing that she's seen. But yet she'll stand for 8 hours for illegal aliens.
Right. Well,
Just-
that's her future voters, you know.
Yeah, you know. And I mean, it's just,
And that's basically what it boils down to. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Is a lot of Democrats, they don't want any restrictions on illegals coming in because, let's face it, they're the future of their party, and
Very
that's
much
plain
so,
true
you know?
and to the point, and everybody knows it.
people are starting to learn what the Democrats are all about, and they're, you know, it's, I mean, of course, you got people who are big, you know, who are used to big government and an overbearing government and government that's all up in your business, you know, and that's why you see, you know, the whole adage of birds of a feather flock together. That's why you see, you know, a lot of bigger cities and whatnot whom lean Democrat because they're used to government being all up in their business. What they don't understand is, you know, our form of government was based off of a principle, and a very Christian principle at that, of self-governance. I can speak. Really, I can't. Self-governance. That, you know, you don't need anybody else to tell you what you need to be doing. That you know what you need. You know how you should do things. You know how to operate. Just do it. You know, your freedoms end where my freedoms begin, and vice versa. You know, it's called being an adult. It's called being responsible for you and yours. You know, it's not about the government being all up in their business.
Right.
So, which is one of them reasons why a lot of, you know, they need the government, or they need the, you know, the voter base. Exactly like what you said.
Right.
So, moving on to another headline, and this headline comes from the New York Times. Republicans learn to love deficit spending they once loathed. So, basically, like, is what it more or less amounted to is they had to, President Trump did, you know, support, you know, like what he was talking about in the State of the Union, you know, with fully funding the military. In order to do that, he needed Democrat support because there wasn't enough Republicans to actually that stood up and agreed with him, you know, and in which case I definitely recommend going online and looking up, which I have yet to do this, but going online and looking up these guys and see how these people voted. And if you don't like them, if you don't like what they stand for, if you don't like how they vote them out.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the best thing that we can do. I mean, we can complain all the time about what Congress is doing and how they vote. But the bottom line is we as the people are the ones who keep voting them back into office. It doesn't matter how much money they get from special interest groups, how much money they get from lobbyists, how much money they get from wherever else they get their money. The bottom line is if they don't have the support of the people, if the people don't get out of their homes and goes and votes for them, if that doesn't happen, they're not going to get back in office. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't like a lot of that stuff. Yes, I would like, you know, we need term limits. Why do we need term limits? Because people are too stupid to vote these people out of office that have been there for 40 and 50 years.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's just, I hate to say it. I'm sorry to say it, but that's just the bottom line. And that's what it amounts to. People are too stupid to actually get them out of office. They want to complain about them, but they're not willing to go and vote for somebody else or make sure that certain things happen that keeps voter fraud down to a minimum, like, you know, voter ID cards. You know, heaven forbid we do that one because
We do it for everything else.
exactly. You know, it's not bad for me to, you know, want to get on an airplane and, oh, you got to show your ID. Oh, no, sir, I do not. That's racism.
Right.
I don't think that would fly. I think that'd tell you can just not get on the plane then.
Yeah.
You know?
Literally wouldn't fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice pun.
Huh?
Nice pun. You know, that wouldn't fly.
Wouldn't fly, exactly. You
On
like
an
that? That was
airplane.
good, right? You see what I did there? So in order for them to get more or less the military fully funded, they had to go ahead and, you know, raise the spending, you know, increase the deficit spending on that, which I was like, you know, that's one of them things, you know. And this is just kind of one of them things that irritates me about this in particular. Okay. the Democrats have always been big government. This is just, historic stereotypes based off of their platform that they've been running on for quite some time. Democrats, big government, big spending, two big things about them. Wow. And Republicans have always been historically, smaller, limited government, lower spending, yes on defense, but, lower spending. Okay. That's always been the way it has been. What's the difference between a Republican and a Democrat anymore? I'm confused. If we have to fight so hard for our platform and what and what the Republicans say that they believe, we shouldn't have any problem getting these bills through through Congress.
Right.
Really, what is the difference anymore? I don't get it. Exactly. Totally wouldn't fly.
One point that I can see is, the Democrats trying to spin this as Trump raising the deficit and, causing more of our tax dollars to be used. But in the past 8 years or so, 9 years, under Obama, how many times have we raised the deficit there? It's okay when it's their agenda to go ahead and raise it because it's our agenda. But when it's not our agenda, then it's bad because you're doing the same thing that we did before. And one thing that irks me a lot is the hypocrisy. It's okay when it's for us, but it's not okay if it's not for us. And that's one thing that just irks me.
Yeah.
Is the hypocrisy of it all.
Oh yeah. Sexy Sage in the chat room just I can't believe I'm saying that one. That's awesome. Awesome name. Voter ID okays, but districting mirrors race and ethnicity, residential homes. And they got a point on that, and that's one of them things. And I've said before on the show that with I would actually like to see something that more closely resembles oh crap, that word just flew right out of my mind. Electoral college, with the government as far as whenever it comes to, because the problem is, and with voter districting is what you have. Like, okay, I live in Illinois, very horrible state for this, because they always redraw them districts to where there are, homes and neighborhoods in my hometown that shares a district with Chicago.
Right.
Why? I'm in, Chicago's northeast Illinois. I'm in central, southern central, central, mid-central Illinois. Our problems, our needs, our just the things that we need, our people, our culture, whatever, is totally different than what's going on up in Chicago. We don't have anything to do with Chicago. So why are we districted in with Chicago and we have absolutely nothing to do with them? And you're right. Those things are done like that in order to dilute, considering it's the Republicans in charge, they're done like that in order to dilute the Republican vote, and that is a huge problem. and it very much is,
Right. I've seen the district maps on the state level and federal level, and they're just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, but exactly though, they do that just to dilute the vote to where, whatever we want, it doesn't matter because they can dilute our vote so much that it doesn't mean anything, and that's why they do it that way. And actually this next one that I, changing direction just a slight little bit. Yeah. The, another headline that I had read, and this one actually kind of, it made me go, huh. CNC Music Factory, things that make you go, This next headline comes from the Associated Press. And, of course, this is something that I've seen on the news here the past few days, and that's about the stock market stumble. The S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ. Thank you, sir. Those have dropped, a pretty significant amount of points.
Right.
And one of the things that I read out of Associated Press, and, it's one of the things that made sense whenever I read it. And it was also one of the things that I really didn't even consider, because when it comes to this kind of stuff, I really haven't paid much attention to how one would affect the other, because I've never even looked at it. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I never even looked at it. So the headline on this, from the Associated Press, why prospect of higher budget gaps is spooking the stock market. It's not the headline I read. What did the headline read that I say? Higher budget deficits is a likely factor in stock market rout. And, yep, did the same thing. Why prospect? Why is one headline in one place, one headline, when you go and click on it and the headline changes, like, oh, we're just going to confuse you now. But,
right.
The correlation between the two, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Yes, higher deficit, higher government spending, more government involvement in things, so yeah, I mean, I could see the correlation between, one and the other, I mean, it's not that I'm confused on how it would affect the other, but it's just one of the things that I hadn't even considered as a thing. I just really haven't.
One thing I see is that is true to an extent that one thing. There's a lot of factors that affect the tides of the stock market. Okay, that is one thing that does, but there's a lot of other factors that affect it as well. And what I see some news organizations doing is they try to they're telling you the truth as far as, yes, this one thing does affect it, but they kind of spin it off as it being bigger than, like that's the only reason or it's the major reason why.
Right.
And they try to make it more than what it really is. Yes, it does affect things, but so does a lot of other factors.
Oh yeah.
When the stock market started rising even months ago, I'm no expert. I'm no financial, whiz or whatever. But I knew right then when the stock market was starting to rise and rise and rise, I knew at some point there was going to be a correction. There always is. No matter who the president is, no matter who's in office, no matter who's in power, it's going to happen.
Well, actually, okay, this is actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because this was actually kind of, it was interesting for me. Okay, I was looking at a stock market thing from, with a blue line representing, Trump, and then a red line representing Obama. And, the stock market's reaction and how it did different things and whatnot throughout their presidency. And it was very interesting to see, that, in one aspect where Trump's line and Obama's line was differed is, its rise was pretty well the same. I mean, in Obama, he had a dip very early, but it recovered very quickly, though, too. And both of them went up about the same, and then it fell at right about the same time frame, like about a year into it. So, I mean, I actually thought that was pretty interesting how, that just, that both of them actually mirrored themselves very closely. And actually, according to the that article that I had read, and I didn't even save that because, I mean, it was just one of them things that I looked at and I very much thought it was, thought it was interesting how both of them more or less, I don't want to say it mirrored itself, because, I mean, just very, very similar, though, with, how the stock market reacted during Obama's presidency versus how it's reacted in Trump's presidency. Very, very close.
Right.
Very, very similar.
Yeah. Anytime the stock market has a bubble, eventually everybody knows it's going to go. There's going to be a correction. Most stock people that are buying stocks know this. So what do? They get to a certain point when that bubble gets really high, and then they cash out on some of their stuff to get the highest value for their stock. But when a lot of people do that, what happens? The stock market takes a plunge. Mm-hmm. You know, but these people are gaining cash from selling their stock. So yes, the numbers go down. You know, but you know it's an expected thing. It's not just because of Trump. It's not even just because of Obama. You know, I don't like Obama, but I'll be fair on both sides. It's not just because of either of those guys when the stocks went down. You know, it's the way the stock market works. It gets so high, and as an investor, you want to cash some of your stuff out as high as you can. The old adage being, buy low, sell high. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, I mean, not only that. I mean, it's one of them things you've got. I mean, I'll tell you what. I've done some researching in the stock market, and I tell you what. I mean, it's, you know, I have a lot of respect for the people that can actually do that and make money off of it, because there is so much information out there. Mm-hmm. You know, so many things that they look at. You know, global things, and you know, weather things, and you know, just the value of certain commodities, mm-hmm. and the value of this, the value of that, the value of oil. I mean, there's so many different things that they throw into it that really affect it. And you've got to know what you're doing and really do your homework in order to, you know, really be successful at it. I mean, you really do. I mean, it's no easy thing. I mean, granted, there's certain aspects of it that are extremely easy if you take a look at trends. And I mean, that's one of them things too, being in the information age that we're in. You know, you can look back, you know, 3 months, 6 months, a week, a year, 5 years, you know, and look at the different trends for, you know, any business or anything that's bought and traded on Wall Street. I mean, you can really do your homework on it and see a lot of information on there. I mean, there's really a lot to see, but if you don't know what you're looking at, you know, that it's just like you can be overwhelmed by the information. I mean, it's like, holy crap.
Right.
You know, but I mean, we just got done having a bull market, you know, and that's one of them things too. I mean, it's not uncommon, you know, just like what you said. I mean, it's not uncommon for, you know, a correction, and most corrections it's you know, a 10% drop, and that's just how most of them go, you know. But I mean, it isn't uncommon. You know, that's one of the things that was talked about in the article, that it's not uncommon. So that's cool. You know, so it's just one of the things. It's like, it's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, not that it's not something that you shouldn't be made aware of and you shouldn't pay attention to, but at the same time, it's like there's, you know, not that there's not nothing to see, but there's not anything to be afraid of.
Right. It's part of the normal cycle.
Am I saying that right?
Part of the normal cycle of that arena.
Yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, that's, and they threw some years out there, you know, this many, you know, stock market stumbles or, you know, corrections within this certain time frame. And I mean, they threw some, maybe that wasn't in this article. Maybe that was in one of the other articles.
Well, like in the 1990s, you had the internet bubble.
Oh, yeah.
You had eBay.
Well, the dot-com crash. I mean,
right,
how
exactly.
many people lost fortunes because of that? Oh, what was that? That wasn't 1997, was it? Was that 1997?
I think it was somewhere in that range.
The dot-com crash. I mean, that was a huge dot-com crash. I mean, a lot of stuff sprouted up in a quick amount of time, and people made millions.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, not literally overnight, but like in a very short time frame, just, you know, bottom fell out, you know?
Yeah, some went on to be successful, and the others crashed. And that's just the way it is. And, you know, you see this throughout, you know, history. You can go back, you know, decade, you know, years after year, and you'll see the same kind of cycles with different bubbles. Mm-hmm. So this is not nothing out of the ordinary. It's not nothing new. There will be another bubble, you know, and then there will be another correction.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. And when I return, what do I got here? Let's see. Some, what
you got?
Yeah, I got some. All right, this is when we're going to touch base on the FISA, some of the FISA documents. And then, of course, I got something I want to talk about on this guy with the Russian interference, touching base on that. And then one of the things I seen that I was like, are you kidding me? Why is this even a thing? And this is a lawsuit that's coming up against Trump over the border wall. I was like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, those are some of the things we're going to be touching base on here in just a few minutes, just as soon as I get back from break. Una momento, por favor. Or don't go anywhere, or something. I don't know. Words.
Be back in a few
stuff.
microns.
We will be. I thought that was parsecs.
That's distance.
Oh.
I'll be back. 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 I'm back.
I will never send troops anywhere on a mission of that kind without telling them that if somebody shoots at them, they can darn well shoot back.
Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show, and of course, I am your host, Ho Ho, joined in studio this wonderful evening with Ray.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up?
All right. Not much.
Catchy music you have there.
Oh, dude, that was put together by Al, Trucker Al. Good man, co-worker, awesome, good
job,
stuff.
Al.
Oh, yes, good job, Al. I like that. It's been a while since I've heard that one. And, because it's like I don't cycle through all of them all the time, and that one was one that I hadn't gone through in a while.
Like I told you off air, it reminded me of like the old Miami Vice television series.
Right, yeah.
During the show, that type of music.
All right, we're moving on. All right, so as I said, something that this one guy said about something that I was like, kind of like, holy crap, really? So considering that made so much sense, this next headline comes from The Blaze. George W. Bush weighs in on Russia interference in election. Here's what he said. And I don't even know what he said. I wasn't even looking into it. I didn't care. Basically talking about how Russia, meddled with it in order to get Trump elected. So here's the thing that's completely hilarious that I found in this. Okay, one, here you've got Bush. And there you got Bush. Here Bush, there Bush, everywhere Bush. So here he is talking about, Russian interference in with the election. And it's like, okay, all right, look, if Russia did interfere with the election, don't you think that they would interfere in order to get somebody elected who is going to play the game like Obama did? All right, because Obama was caught. I mean, let's just face it. Obama was caught on the hot mic, wait till after the election and I'll have more room to play.
Right.
I'll have more freedom to do things, okay? And then you've got Clinton, whom we know is a pay for play. That's how they ran things. That's how they ran the Oval Office. That's how they ran whenever she was Secretary of State. That's how they operated whenever, over in Arkansas. That's how they operate. It is known, that's how they operate. So why would Russia interfere in with the election in order to get Trump elected whenever? Wouldn't you think that you can just, why elect a person who put himself in the office whenever you have a pay-for-play candidate very clearly, it's on her T-shirt, pay for play. She advertises it all over the place, I don't understand where George W. Bush gets off by saying that, they got Trump elected, so that this way they can get something out of it. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. And it just goes to show you how much of an establishment Republican that Trump really was.
Right. Well, the Bushes have been known to have ties with the Clintons for decades.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just because one's a Democrat, one's a Republican. You look back at the history and what you said, what you said earlier in the show, the birds of feathers flock together. These people are globalists, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You understand this, but maybe some viewers don't understand. These people are all about one world government control. It's like a mob cartel on a global scale. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if they're a Republican. They're all in on it together. Okay, Trump is an outsider. He's more of a nationalist. He's more about the USA. He's not about global government. He's not about all that crap that they're promoting. So for George Bush to say that, it goes along with their agenda. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of them things. Globalism on that scale has been something that's been around very hot and heavy since World War II.
Right.
That was one of them things that they implemented. That it's like, okay, our economy isn't based off of the gold standard. It's one of them things that after World War II, they linked one economy with another nation's economy. And more or less the theory behind that was, or the reasoning behind that was, you're not going to bomb your enemy if bombing your enemy is going to hurt your own economy and thus hurt you.
Right.
It was kind of one of them things. It was a, mutual destruction is what it ensured, and that was the theory behind that in order to, hopefully stop through, economic tactics, a third world war. That was the point behind that. And in a matter of speaking, yeah, okay, it sounds good. It sounds good. It's an utopia type of a mindset and it sounds good in theory, but we're not really seeing this play out all too well because, with the frictions that's been coming up all over the world, you've got, especially over in Europe, Japan, Korea, this is stuff that it's been a while since I've looked into. So, forgive me on that. I don't remember, a lot of the nations, but I know a lot of those nations over there, including some, Middle Eastern nations, whom are really they're doing treaties amongst themselves in order to basically unlink one economy from another one as far as trading goes. Right. They're not doing it through, I guess, the centralized channels, how things used to be done. They're doing it amongst themselves in order to, kind of unlink one economy from another, and that's how they've been doing things for quite a while. You're not really seeing this impacted in places like places that have big tourism type of things. But I mean, you go outside of tourism industry, and you can really see how, like with the American dollar, you can't do near as much with it as you could have at one time.
Right.
Because they're unlinking the currencies and whatnot.
Right.
And that's one thing that, they are doing very much so. I think it's horrible that we can't spend Canadian money down here whenever we can spend American money up there. That's just weird. I go up to Canada a lot. I'm a Canadian driver. They have this thing called a loony and a toonie, which is amazing because back in my day, I thought that was like Bugs Bunny and the Animaniacs. Animaniacs, wah, wah, wah. They're zany to the max. Wah, wah, wah.
Well, speaking of that, have you ever heard of the Amero?
The Amero?
The Amero. This is a project.
American European money?
Canadian, United States, and Mexican, one North American currency. It was devised, the blueprints of it started in 1987, I believe. They actually got the blueprints, as far as the format of how to do it. That's part of why they implemented NAFTA and all these treaties between the North America countries. And it was going towards one currency. And now you're starting to see it on a global scale, trying to get that one world currency.
Right. Well, I haven't seen that as a currency type of a thing. I mean, much in, like with the European Union. I mean, I know that they were trying to do that, which is one of the reasons why you've got, the free movement between, our three countries. That's one of the things that they are, really wanting, dissolve the border wall, and then you can just move from country to country freely, like how they do things over in Europe. But just like over in Europe, you're really, really seeing how this can be a potentially bad thing for different countries, and they're seeing a backlash into that. That's one of them things, too, that I don't understand why they don't, not just a learn from our own history. It's a learn from other people's problems. I'm not going to strap myself up to a really big freaking kite on a windy day. Why am I not going to do that? Because I watched a YouTube video and I was like, that looked painful. So I know not to do that now. Yes, there was a time I kid you not. Yes, there was a time I was like, that would be amazing. That would be fun. It would be a good time. Anti-gravity moments. I've flown a kite, it gets up there and you just kind of, there you go. And I can have a winch or something because I need a really big winch. I'm a fat guy, so, I would need that. So it'd be a good time. But then I watched a YouTube video and I was like, okay, maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Right.
It's just
everybody looks at the flight. They don't pay attention too much to the landing.
The fall, the coming down,
Yeah.
And I know from personal experience, flying isn't that big of a deal, but the landing, I'm not very good at it. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Runt MC, cool.
That goes back to your favorite thing called gravity.
Oh, yeah, gravity. He is my arch enemy. Dude, I now have a new line to tell a cop if I get pulled over, for not wearing a seatbelt. It's like, oh, no, man, I'm good. I got this thing called gravity assist. I don't need a seatbelt.
Here's your ticket, sir.
I don't think it'll work. Exactly. So there you go. George Bush weighing in on Russian interference in the election. And so here's one of my things, too. And I looked at this article and I had to laugh, okay? Because this really definitely shows how, how much they hate Trump, how much they're against him, and it's like, they're just, at this point, they're just making up things, okay? So this next headline comes from Splinter. Headline, Breaking with Tradition. President is illiterate. I was like, are you kidding me? Are they actually accusing the president of being illiterate? You watch the State of the Union address. He is clearly reading from the monitors. Do you actually think he is going to remember all the words to that speech without being able to read it off of a teleprompter? Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
I'm like, the ridiculousness
And
of these guys at this point.
That's after an article of, I forget who said it, that Trump understands these security briefings better than CIA security officers do. You know, so if he's illiterate, how can he understand these security briefings better than some senior officers? Right. It just doesn't go well together, I guess you'd say.
Right. You know, and that's one thing too. And I mean, this isn't to, you know, pat Trump's back or anything like that, but the man is in business. Okay, he knows. You know, if one thing that he knows and has done very well throughout his time of being a business owner, it's not about how much you know. It's about knowing the right people and what they know.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things that Trump has been very well at and has demonstrated this not only professionally but politically. Well, not even politically, because, I mean, I tell you what, man, the man has made some mistakes that I don't really agree with. I don't know what the heck he's doing. It's almost like he's smoking something, and it ain't the green stuff. I don't know what it is, because the man's got little hands. Little joints is all he can do, you know. Just, well, yeah, I said it, little hands. Yeah, little Trump. Yeah, why? I mean, come on. I mean, these are the things you have to make up as news in order to make yourself a newsworthy organization or something. Yeah, we'll just say stuff like that.
Yeah, like we talked about off air. You know, I'm waiting for the next article. President Trump is found out to be a space alien. You know, or
right,
or you know, something. It keeps getting nuttier and nuttier. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I heard stuff.
You heard stuff? It must be the ghost.
I heard stuff. I heard a door. It's downstairs. It's not up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. All right, moving on. This next headline, FISA-gate is scarier than Watergate. I'm sorry. I'm just sick and tired of a gate thrown into everything and make it all scary and you know, this is a conspiracy and yada yada and blah blah, and it's just, can we please get away from gate, guys? Can we do that? Is that too much to ask people? However, back to the article. And this article comes from, let me pull it up. Let me see it. Let me find it. I don't know. National Review. There it is. From National Review, FISA-gate is scarier than Watergate. Now, here's the thing. Watergate. Does anybody remember what actually happened from Watergate? Nixon, okay? If I remember correctly, this was basically the weaponizing, and they got caught red-handed doing it, of the IRS. Am I remembering that correctly?
They broke into the Watergate Hotel and stole files or something. They got caught.
Right, but that was revolved around. But that was the evidence of what they were doing.
Right,
which is what they were doing.
Nixon was taping inside the White House unnoticed,
right?
Supposedly, and that was a no-no, something along that lines that he was doing, and
illegal wiretapping,
right?
And you know, and the weaponizing of the IRS against his political enemies, you know, against Republicans and whatnot. So I mean, yeah.
So
there was a couple aspects of it right there.
Things back then compared to what's been going on recently, and this was a headline in the news even under Obama. Watergate was nothing compared to some of the crap that's been going on in the past 10 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that what they're talking about with this, these FISA memos that have been released, you know, because I mean, okay, here's one of for Republicans, wow, you know, I'm sounding like Leo Getz. Okay. For the Republicans out there, for a lot of us, this is no new news. This is not new news. New news. Yeah. Anywho, This is not that. Okay. We've pretty well known this. We've been suspecting this since day one. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have all pretty well said the same thing. And if you actually look at the memos yourselves, and you can see a lot of this, you know, with what's going on. Okay. And part of what these things were saying, now again, I mean, this wasn't the big dump. This was only like, I think 4 pages, if I'm remembering correctly, on this most recent dump. But it was yes, they got caught, you know.
Hand in the cookie jar.
Yep, hand in the cookie jar. this was paid for by, the DNC, which was financially being controlled by Hillary Clinton at the time. And that is what was used. It was gotten from a Russian spy. Am I remembering that correctly?
All kinds of things mixed in there.
And, written by a Russian spy and paid for by them. It was a dossier that was done. They acknowledged that this was a hit job that was done by the Democrat Party against Trump. It was a hit job. It was a smear campaign. That's all it was. Okay. They acknowledged that, yes, most of what was in this, 90% of what was in this is a lie. This is, unconfirmable, unreliable lie. Just like that dude with that book that was, to take down the Trump presidency.
Right.
Yes, he acknowledges that this is a work of fiction. This work of fiction is going to take down the Trump presidency. Yeah, okay. And that is what they used in order to get the FISA warrant that they had in order to, for the surveillance against Trump. They did not they didn't confirm anything. They didn't investigate anything. They didn't follow up with anything. They didn't try to figure if any of this was true or a lie. They didn't do anything. They took a piece of paper from somebody and they said, you look like a trustworthy individual. You don't look like Satan. You don't look like Count Dracula. I'm going to go ahead and take this as reliable documentation proof against the president, and I am going to do a legal document in order to, warrant for listening in on and wiretapping and just really digging in and researching,
right?
President Trump or the not so then President Trump.
And as somebody said before, I can't remember the other article. It should scare people that could happen to anybody. Like say you're politically opposite of whoever's in power. Well, let's see. Ho, we don't like him, so we're just going to get this, testimony from this other guy that doesn't like him, and okay, and now we're going to make up this warrant and investigate Ho-Ho's entire life. Basically, just because we don't like him,
right?
But now we have it on paper, and it's legal. It's legal now that we can do it,
right?
But it's based on, well, we just don't like you.
Exactly.
How many other people can that be done to if they allow this to be done?
Exactly. Now this next one, based off of what you were just saying, this next article comes from The Guardian. This headline, Trump's attack on the FBI is an attack on the U.S. Constitution itself. So here's the thing. You have, this FISA warrant. You have the FBI doing an investigation into Trump based off of this FISA warrant, based off of this dossier that was paid for, that was a political hack job from one political party to another political party. And Trump, wanting to make the FBI accountable for what they did, that's unconstitutional?
Right.
Or that's an attack on the Constitution? That is ridiculous. Completely.
But you can put any headline out there, and the average person is not going to, they're just going to read that headline and be like, oh, I guess that's true.
Oh, exactly,
We're not going to delve into the information. And they know it. They know that a lot of people out there are just going to look at that headline and then be like, well, if that's what they're saying, then it must be unconstitutional, and that's how they get away with this crap. And it sickens me.
And I tell you what, too, one of them things that actually cracked me up, and I this was a while ago, and I know I mentioned it at the time whenever I had seen it, but I had looked up an article and I'd read it, and I was like, this is... this was a weird headline, and then I opened up the headline and actually I read the article and I was like, that is the stupidest freaking thing I had ever read.
Right.
Because the headline had absolutely nothing to do. Well, I don't want to say it had nothing to do with what what the actual article said, but it was entirely misleading that it said the opposite,
Right.
And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And of course, I mean, they do that, and in the digital age, I know why they do it. Because that article right there, because if the headline actually matched what the article said, I wouldn't have clicked on it.
Right.
But considering the article was so outlandish and such a lie that I already knew it, I was like, this is ridiculous. I've got to see what's actually in here. Click. Digital age, that's what it amounted to. It was a click.
Right.
They got recognition for that article because somebody did a misleading headline. I know why they do it. It's ridiculous and it honks me off that they do it, but I understand why they did it.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we return, we got some movie stuff to talk about.
Right.
We're going to change the direction of the show. We're going to talk about movies and stuff that's coming up and just nostalgia that hit me not that long ago. It was very cool. The Russian, speaking of Russians, my most favorite Russian, he was a master of the universe. He held up a magic sword. He said 5 little bitty words.
I have the power.
By the power of Grayskull, I have the power. Okay, so he said 8 little bitty words. Wow, I even had to use my finners.
Your fingers?
My finners.
Yeah.
By the power of Grayskull. But we're talking about that. So
I got a favorite Russian too, but I'll tell you that after the break.
now I'm scared. All right, guys, a few minutes. We'll be right back. Let me get to that screen, actually.
Okay. I'll be back. 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 I'm back.
All right, and we are back.
John the non-believer. John.
Good stuff.
Oh, yes. I have to find creative ways to entertain myself. And those are some of the ways that I have found to entertain myself.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
That's another one. All right. Moving right along. Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show.
Hello.
I'm your host, Ho Ho. This is Ray.
Hello.
We're weird.
Yes.
This next headline, this is really cool. This is just nostalgia for me. This came from, I don't even know, IO9. The heck is IO9? I don't know. Headline, He-Man, stop, rewind, play. The He-Man movie has been hit with yet another setback.
Oh, no.
Now, I didn't even know this was a thing. I did not know that they were remaking the He-Man live-action movie that was originally done with Dolph Lundgren, a.k.a. the Big Russian, a.k.a. the guy that was in The Expendables, a.k.a. the guy that was in The Expendables 2, a.k.a. the guy that was in Expendables 3. I did not know that they were making another one until I seen this headline.
I didn't know it either.
I did not know. They mentioned the guy that was going to be doing, I guess, He-Man. The name didn't sound familiar at all. So I don't even know. But I'm actually quite anxious to see this movie, to see what they, what they do with it, how well it's done, all these other kind of, stuff that they're talking about. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. I like the first one. Yes, that movie was from back in the freaking day, 1980s? 80, 84 maybe.
The live one?
Yeah, the one with Dolph Lundgren.
I'd have to look that up. I think it's just a little bit later, but I'm not for certain. I know the cartoons were from the 80s and then the live one.
Well, they did the live one around the same time frame. And this happened...
it might be.
I think He-Man came out before Rocky IV. I'm pretty sure He-Man came out before Rocky IV. Yeah.
Wow. Time flies. Mm-hmm. But I like that movie for a live movie like that. I thought they did back then a pretty good job.
Back then
I was impressed.
Watching it today, the special effects and whatnot is very ridiculous. But you take into consideration the time for the time that it was done and whatnot. They did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
It was very, very neat.
On this new one you're talking about, we was talking about off air. I don't know if this rumor is true or not, but I heard who they're going to get to play Skeletor, because he's all bones or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I heard it could be Lindsay Lohan.
But she's not... I'm not going to say that. Moving on.
Yes.
This next movie that I wanted to bring up, Jumanji sequel in the works with director, writers, and talks to return. So... I have yet to see, this is the remake, of course, it was done with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I definitely want to see it. What do you think on that? It doesn't matter. Sorry, I had to do that.
Oh.
The Rock, it doesn't matter.
I didn't see the very beginning of the new movie, but I seen the majority and the end of it at the barbershop.
Oh, yeah?
And I was impressed with it. It's
no spoilers?
No, it's a little different than the original movie, but...
Oh, well, yeah, they totally did it.
Yeah. But the movie itself is a good movie. And you know how I am about remakes. I'm not very keen on remakes, but this was a pretty decent remake. It was just a little, different than the original storyline, but...
Right. Well, it's one of them things that in this one, it's less of a remake and more of a... I can't really necessarily call it a sequel because it kind of is, but at the same time it kind of isn't. You had the first one that was based off of a board game,
right? And
this one is more or less based off of a like a first person experience, but it's kind of a VR type of a thing, considering this person is actually this person, and this is their game character inside. So it's more of a live action type of a thing instead of a board game that's happening inside their house type of a, it's different. It's not necessarily a remake. It's a reimagined of the movie.
I'd say it's definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it yet. I would give it credit as far as that goes. I was really impressed with it. No jokes on that movie though. Sorry. But I do like the original movie, too.
Oh, yeah. The original movie, I thought they did a very good job with. It was a very, it was a neat concept for a movie. It really was,
right.
So, I'm very much, for somebody who hasn't seen it yet, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing the movie. And Jumanji sequel coming out, that just tells you right there that it had to have been good, the original one. I guess I really can't say that because this just is the day and age of sequels.
Right.
So, and speaking of sequels, this next one, and I tell you what, I was a fan of this this TV series, a fan of. I hate it when you do that. Stop doing that.
I didn't do
Oh,
it.
you're not doing that. You are not I will bust you in the face.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Stop doing. Will you stop it?
All these pop-up
Stinking
ads.
pop up. Stop it. Anyway, I was a fan of the TV series, which was only out for one season. I don't remember how many episodes it was, but it was one season. And of course, they did a corresponding movie. I don't know if it was like a pilot to the TV show or something that they did, but I mean, it's one of them things that the series and the movie is the exact same stinking thing. The only difference is the series goes in depth as to where the movie is cut down and trimmed to where it's a lot shorter. But it's the exact same storyline, the exact same things going on. That's the only thing that I didn't like about, Firefly and Serenity, which I believe was the name of, well, one of them was the name of the movie, the other one was the name of the TV series. It was Serenity and Firefly. But anyway, Firefly is coming back, but not in the way you hoped? What?
Uh-oh. That sounds a little dubious.
Right? This is one of the things I didn't actually read the article. I just read the headline.
Huh.
But this is one of the things that I didn't want. I don't, like for instance, I mean, there's so much stuff that's even getting put out there as far as, with Game of Thrones and whatnot. And they're throwing spoilers in there, for season 8 already. And I don't want to know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, yes, they're throwing all kinds of spoilers in there, so I don't want spoilers on Firefly. I really don't want it. Not at all. So I'm not reading these stinking things. But to actually see that Firefly has an opportunity to come back, oh, heck yeah. I'll watch it. I was a fan of Firefly, the original one. I liked the guy that played the captain of the ship.
I never watched it, but I know some people, friends online that were big into it, and they liked it. I got a lot of movie catching up to do, I know.
Yes, you do.
Did you just growl at me?
I did. All right, now these next couple... No, I'm done, actually. All right, these next 2 stories that I've seen... All right, this is another scenario where these guys need to make up their freaking mind and quit doing all the craziness. All right. This is from Vanity Fair. Oh. Well, do I want to touch base on that one or do I want to touch base on the other one? Let's pop up on that one first. So, if you guys have seen Gladiator, Russell Crowe, Joaquin, I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Phoenix. That's his last name. That's not like, but Joaquin or Joaquin, the dude that was in that movie. All right. So if you've seen that, Gladiator, he was the guy that played the son of Decimus Meridius or whatever the guy's name was. I don't know. But he was in that. He played Johnny Cash in a Johnny Cash movie with who's his face is, the chick, Joan, Reese Witherspoon in it, And he was also in another movie where he played that one guy with that one chick and stuff. It was very good. Just made that last part up. But he is reportedly going to be playing the Joker in a standalone movie about the Joker. This is another instance why these guys this is another example of how these guys keep screwing up the characters, which is making people lose interest, which is why, with Ultimate Avengers and all them guys and with the X-Men, why they are flourishing and why Batman and Superman and the Flash and all these guys are just sucking because they have zero continuity with the characters with the plot, with the storyline, with what's going on. I mean, there's talks about, because Jared Leto, which, was the guy who played the Joker in Suicide Squads, and then, who's her face that played Harley Quinn, they were just itching to get another, to do a standalone Joker and Harley Quinn movie because, those two, especially her, I've never seen a more amazing Harley Quinn. I mean, what she does to that outfit, just her, and just yeah, the things dreams are made of.
Snap out of it.
But, there was a lot of pressure. From what I had heard, there was a lot of pressure from her especially to do, for them to come up with basically a Joker standalone movie. And of which case they were going to be doing a Joker like him in his early days, which was going to be more or less a standalone movie outside of Suicide Squad. And now there's talks about, this one with Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. And it's like, will you freaking guys make up your mind on a storyline, a timeline, get some freaking continuity going on?
Right.
I mean, this is, the games they're playing is ridiculous at this particular point in time. It's almost like these guys are making a movie just to make a movie. As to where, the X-Men make a movie and it's all continuity. 9 freaking films, and every single one of them agree with each other. These guys keep pulling a Highlander.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You went there, didn't
and
you?
You know how I feel about Highlander. In game.
Oh, let's not even go there. Ooh.
Just. Oh, wait. Cover that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what these guys keep doing, though. That's how irritating this is. As a fan, this is irritating for them to be doing it like this. I mean, it really is. Where's his face at? He said he was going to be here.
I have a question for you on that, though.
I have an answer for you on that.
Now, you as a fan, okay, and as far as loyal, hardcore fans, okay, do you think in their mind they make these movies like this and they think, well, you know what, it doesn't matter if this sucks or not because all these hardcore, loyal fans are going to go watch it anyway and we're still going to make our money?
Well, see, that's the thing, though. They're not. I mean, really, they're not. I mean, in comparison, a lot of people have checked out of, okay, I'm sorry. I don't remember if it's DC or Marvel. I think DC is, who's doing,
the shenanigans.
Batman, Superman, yeah. And I think Marvel, yeah, because Marvel is Hulk and Iron Man and all them guys. Marvel is doing it right, okay? And especially when, I mean, if both of them were sucking and doing it wrong, then okay, they'd just be doing it, they'd make their money back anyway. But Marvel is doing it right. They're showing continuity. There's been very few instances where it's been screwed up to the point to where there wasn't showing continuity. Okay, case in point with, The Incredible Hulk, because you had the first one that was very comic booky. It was a standalone movie. The second one, which was more or less a gear up towards the Ultimate Avengers, was the one with Edward Norton. That one was the second one. And that is even evident as to whenever Samuel L. Jackson came on as the One-Eyed Bandit, during the end credits with Tony Stark in there. Evident it was a gear up towards Ultimate Avengers, with the inclusion of him as a character. And then Ultimate Avenger, they recasted it to somebody else. Now granted, it was supposed to be Edward Norton. Yeah, it was supposed to be Edward Norton as the character in Ultimate Avengers, but there was some type of a clashing and whatnot. They tried to, but even still, they didn't separate it. It was just recasted. Right. It's still in there. It's still part of it, even though they had to recast the character. But it wasn't a complete rebranding of the character. They've only rebranded the character once. They've only changed the storyline once. The first one that they did was a throwaway movie as to where now there is continuity. And then, of course, you have the X-Men. 9 freaking movies, but it's all a continuous storyline based in the same universe. As to where with DC, and Batman. You know, because you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, basically 8 movies right now with Batman, and you've only had, okay, the first one and the second one, continuity. Second or third one, standalone, redid everything. Fourth one, standalone, redid everything. 5, 6, and 7, continuity. And then the 8th one with Ben Affleck, another standalone. No continuity. The only place that I'm sorry, another one where Marvel has gotten it wrong, and this isn't even a completely getting it wrong because they kind of sort of tried, you know, with the newest, not the newest one, but the one before him, but Spider-Man, the other failure of Marvel. But that's the only fails of Marvel.
Right.
You know, but I mean, you've got, you know, just so many different fails, you know. And I mean, Christopher Reeves back in that day, I mean, that did great job on that one. And then they, you know, again, for the Ultimate Avengers or whatnot, you had to bring in another character. And then they had to throw away, you know, but I liked how that guy did it. The one that did Superman Returns. Mm-hmm. You know, I like how they did that one. But, you know, I'm not liking what they're doing with this. You know, it's like I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it, but even still, though, I mean, they have lost a lot. They've lost you know, because you can't get momentum like how they've been doing with X-Men. X-Men has a lot of momentum. They can't build up any momentum because they keep resetting everything and starting back at the starting line.
Right, and that's what I was about to ask you if you were, as a loyal follower, going to go see that movie. And what percentage would you say of loyal followers in your genre would you say will go see this new movie, you think?
See it? Absolutely. Actually go to the theaters and see it? That depends.
I mean, how much of a drop in viewership from on a theater level would you say?
I can't really put numbers to it. I mean, it's just one of them things that I do know because this is based off of them and what they have said. Mm-hmm. That I mean, they, you know, according to fandom, you know, they're not doing near what they should be doing. Right. You know, especially at the box office. You know, they just don't. You know, they don't have, like, for instance, okay, the Dark Phoenix is coming out. You know, yes, movie number 10 in the X-Men series, all kinds of momentum. They have the momentum to carry that through the box office. You know, a new Joker movie, they don't.
Right. And that leads into my next question is, besides movies like this that they keep rehashing and restarting, just movies in general, unless it's like a super blockbuster movie like, say, Star Wars, do you see...
Well, and even Star Wars, momentum.
Right.
Because you've got 9 previous movies in there. You know,
do you believe there's a trend there, even in the movies that don't suck? There's a trend from going to the theater and people just wanting to stay home and watch it on, say, Netflix or whenever it comes out on Amazon or whatever like that.
You know, that's one of them things. You know, and I've even heard people not that long ago talk about that, celebrities and whatnot. You know, in today's day and age with, you know, the technology and sound systems and, you know, just audio visual quality of what you can get at home. You know, you really have to offer something, an extremely unique experience as a theater to get somebody to go in, especially considering, you know, people have home theaters in their houses with just as good, if not better, audio video, you know, equipment that they can watch a movie in, you know, full theater spectrum of, you know, full theater quality movie right in the comfort of their own home. Right. You got to get up and go to the bathroom. You can just hit the pause button. You can get up and you can go to the bathroom. You go to a theater, you got to fight with people. You got to find that perfect time. You know, you got to hope and pray that you don't miss anything because the outlandish price of a ticket right now, you know, what in the world are you thinking charging that much?
So you think that theater experience, if it's not a super blockbuster movie, that that's kind of going by the wayside now.
The only thing that's keeping them afloat right now is the whole gimmick. Well, I don't want to call it a gimmick. It's just the technology angle of it is having a 3D. Which, granted, I've watched IMAX 3D. The movies are freaking amazing. I mean, it is a very unique experience. But unless you are really offering that unique experience, let's put it this way. If it wasn't for IMAX 3D, no.
Right.
And even still, that's one of them things, though, too. You can get consumer-grade TVs that'll do the same thing, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really don't have a following for a movie, if you don't have that momentum that continuity gives you with sequels, it's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, look at the new RoboCop movie, the remake on that one, the new, they redid Total Recall. They redid, I think there was another one that they redid, same genre, the same time frame of movie, how well did those three movies do in the box office?
Right.
Both of them. Good movies from back in the day. Even a good movie by today's standards, both of them. I liked RoboCop. Mm-hmm. I liked Total Recall. But it was a remake, and it plopped in the theater because it wasn't any type of a unique experience. And it was just a remake.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like it was a sequel. It was just a remake.
Right.
Plopped in theaters. Great movies. Both of them plopped.
And we've talked about this before, on and off air. Theaters and even movie stores themselves. To me, I see the decline, and I'm not sure if they're going to totally go by the wayside, but you can see that decline because of the home experience, like you were alluding to. So I'm just wondering how much longer are you really going to have theaters? How much longer are you really going to have video stores and that type of thing with the way technology is progressing, like you were alluding to?
Oh, dude, video stores. I tell you what, and video. All right, theaters. It's the IMAX. It's that type of thing that is really keeping theaters afloat right now. And I very much do believe that. Very much so. But as far as, a video store goes, like, okay, for instance, the video store that we have here in town, if it wasn't for game rentals, that place would be gone.
Right.
I mean, come on. All right.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for video games, and I'm sure you can, if you actually went to a video store and actually asked them, in all honesty, where do you really get your business from? I'm sure 90% of them would tell them video games. Because, of course, you're not going to go out and buy a brand new video game, for $50 freaking dollars, and then you have that risk of not liking it. And then going to, a place like GameStop and getting, 10% of the price in-store credit. Why in the heck would you do that whenever you can just go to a place to rent a game? If you like it, great. You can spend the money. If you don't, you're not out anything but $5. You're not out 50 or 60 or 40 of whatever it would be. You're not out $40. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing. Excuse me. That's the only thing keeping these guys afloat.
I'm not too big on the current video games and how the technology has progressed in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to promote anybody, but Amazon, Netflix, all the major home-based systems.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see them, I'm not sure if they even have already, going that way too, renting video games on your TV, just the same as going to the video store? Do you see them going down that avenue and basically putting the video store completely gone, out of business?
I don't really see that, for the simple fact is with, most games that you'd want, well, I don't want to say most. I know that there are games out there that you can, that you have that, just, like Xbox, for instance, you can get a demo version of the game already. So actually even spending the money and renting it, from Netflix, not really. I don't really see Netflix going that direction. I really don't. I just really don't see that happening, but I mean, that's already something that you can do as far as a demo mode of a game. I've got several demo games on my, on my Xbox, so, yes, that's, when that's an option, that's not necessarily a bad option, but I really don't see Netflix or, Redbox, I don't really see them going that direction.
But you do at Xbox, like to where you can stay at your home and rent a game over your Xbox system, or to where you don't have to physically go to a video store to rent a game.
Right, but I just don't see Netflix actually going that route. I just really don't. I mean, you'd think that if they could have, which, I mean, that's one of the things, though, too. I mean, you got a lot of different licensing type of a thing in order to do for that one. Well, okay, here's the thing, though. In the gaming industry, in order for them to make any kind of a money off of it, Netflix would have to have instant access to a brand spanking new video game. They're not going to get that. They are not going to spend the money necessary to do that, to even make that as an actual marketable thing that they can do and make money off of it. And that's the thing too. I mean, if they were to do that, they would really have to bump up subscription fees and all kinds of everything else. Right. I just, not even a thing that they're going to do.
I'm just curious, who somebody's going to come up with something to put the video stores out of business completely. With, like you said, all they have is the gaming industry left for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with Netflix and then with the, like Vudu and with Prime, you can already rent any brand spanking new movie you want to, right online. I mean, without even leaving the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even still, the only thing that keeps these guys in business is just that ability, of having the market cornered on, a video game rental.
Right. I remember back in the day, I used to have the old NES system. Mm-hmm. And there used to be some local people that used to have video stores back then, and I would rent out my games to them and get a percentage of what they rent them out for. That's something you don't see anymore either. But it was a different time back then.
It was nowadays you have the liability issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's yours and we rent it out, and if it breaks, then we are responsible for replacing your game system, and that's why they don't do anything like that. It's a liability issue.
Yeah, it's just neat to see the progression of how videos and video stores and gaming and all that has gone from its infancy to where it is currently.
Yeah, to where it's, it's basically not even a thing anymore. And that's the thing with Netflix. I mean, Netflix, I didn't like it back in the day. I mean, it was a neat concept. I did it, but it was like, okay, you get, you put a queue in there. It's like, these are the movies you're interested in watching. And then they'll send you 2 or 3. Right. And then as you send back, they'll send you the next one. And as you send back, they'll send you another one. It just keeps going. It was different and weird. And I'm so glad that they bumped up to the 21st century whenever they actually did Netflix online, Netflix.com. I love how they do it now. Very much so.
Any other predictions as far as the future of gaming or videos?
No. Virtual reality.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Which, I mean, that's one of them things, though, too. I mean, if you're talking console gaming, no. I don't really see them anytime soon making the jump into virtual reality. I just don't. Because that is more of a PC gaming experience. So I don't see them really doing that in console. And part of that is, I mean, you just got 2 different types of people. I mean, yes, you've got, PlayStation people and you have Xbox people. Mm-hmm. You've got PC gamers and console gamers. I mean, It's one of them things that, there's just a difference in what they're looking for, what they expect, what they want out of the game, and just different things like that, And that's just one of the things, though, whenever it comes to graphics and capability, frame rate, and that whole 9 yards, you're really not going to see what is necessary. You're not going to see what's necessary in the game out of a console to do virtual reality. Okay? Because let's just put it this way. From building my own PC, trust me, the cost of a console would at least triple if they actually had the capability of virtual reality.
Right. Well, they do have the current VR games right now.
But those are more in the PC. Those are not in, console gaming.
Well, they do have
but
a few.
What I'm saying, though, they're more in PC, not so much in console gaming. But, and here's one of the things, though, because you don't have the higher resolution and you don't have the higher frame rate.
Right.
Even out of the consoles, you don't have that. I mean, like I said, if you're actually wanting to do it to where you're not going to get sick and get a headache, 10 minutes into the game, what that sucker has to be able to do is going to triple the price of the console.
Yeah. I've seen some people play the VR goggles, and, a little inebriated and videotape themselves, and it's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially when they're like on the roller coaster, zombie roller coaster.
Oh, yeah, some of that stuff's quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's more interesting in watching them play than it is actually playing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I really don't think, I really don't see anytime soon, especially with how things are right now and just with the graphics card market. It's just, it would make a console way too expensive to actually be able to utilize the technology the way it would actually be feasible and usable in a console versus a PC. Because you need 4K resolution and you need a minimum of 90 frames per second in order to do virtual reality. That's just what you need.
Yeah.
4K, if not 6K. 5K will do it. 4K will do it. Even 1080p, not so much.
Do you see a jump in that area anytime soon?
How do you mean jump in what area?
Currently, like, everything's like 4K right now, like your TV.
Oh, it's already going up to 5K and 6K.
5K and 6K.
Oh, heck yeah, it already is. Not so much on the as far as with like consumer grade TVs and whatnot, but more so in computers. Mm-hmm. You're very much seeing a lot more in with computer monitors and different things like that. I mean, not quite so much yet in, because we still got, 1080p on the TV aspect of it, but it might take a little while. I mean, like, yeah, you can see 4K TVs and whatnot. I mean, normally on the smaller scope TVs, not so much the really bigger ones anymore, yet. But, right. I mean, it's already coming. 5K or 6K is already here. 4K is really still getting up and going, but 6K is already here.
Yeah, because I just bought a 4K TV for my mother for Christmas for about $400 some, which is
how big
pretty
was
cheap.
It?
55-inch.
For how much?
With the insurance, $430.
Well, that's actually not bad at all.
Yeah,
that's pretty surprising actually.
A name brand one too. So that's what I was wondering. Pretty cheap for a 4K right now.
Mm-hmm. And
you're saying 6Ks are coming out. I'm just curious. Have you seen how much they're running?
No, I haven't. And whenever I was looking in the 6K, that was more in the PC area, not in the actual TV area of where I was seeing, and that was recording capability. I hadn't seen it of yet.
How long would you say? A year or two from now?
Oh, good God, it's impossible to even. It's impossible to even
10K?
Forecast on that. Dude, with how quickly, I mean, it's just one of the things that's amazing and fascinating to me. I mean, you look at, a kid being in elementary school, dot matrix,
Oregon Trail.
Playing that on a 3.0, floppy disk. I'm sorry, a 3.5-inch floppy disk. I mean, the capabilities of where we've gone in the past 30 years with computing and technology, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, it really is. I mean, by the time a brand new computer hits the market, it's already out of date and something bigger and badder is already on its way out the door.
So when you get your brand new computer online and everything, you're going to already have to look up the next generation and save up to buy the next Skynet 2 computer?
Oh, dude, I've already seen, computer science in here. Let me get into here. The next Intel CPU. I'm like, And it looks pretty spiffy. They even redesigned the CPU to where it even looks different. Let me see if I can even find that stinking thing. NVIDIA stuff coming on.
It's just,
here.
like you alluded to, it's just amazing within the next 5 or 10 years, where's technology really going to be?
Here you go. Here's mine. There's the new one. They've already redesigned the stinking thing.
Wow.
And it's an 18 core.
And yours is?
Mine is a 6 core.
Ooh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Where will it be in 5 years?
Yeah, and this is actually the 7th gen Intel. They didn't change the overall design of it, just the capability, because this is a 4-core processor right here. On this one, that's a Skylake CPU, but that's 7th generation overclock 4-core processor right there. One I got to say. But as soon as you buy something, as soon as it gets released on the market, they've already got the next bigger, better thing.
Right.
Right there, about ready to roll out. Right there is a prime example, because I got, my processor that I got, my CPU, was an answer to the new AMD Ryzen that they released, and mine was an actual 2018 release of the Intel i7 processor. They released it early as an answer to Ryzen, and here you go, already a new one about ready to roll out.
It makes you wonder, how far are they really down the trail? That they're just not telling you.
Go to China,
because they're going to release the next gen year after year. But as far as on research and paper, how far down are they really?
Oh, dude, go to China. You can find that out.
Yeah.
Because whenever it comes to technology and whatnot, dude, China's a good 5 years ahead of us on computing capabilities and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are. They've got some pretty amazing things. They've got the, completely robotics, garages, that'll go, just grab your car, bring it down there to the parking level to where you're at. There you go. The things that you see in movies, what was in the new, one of the James Bond movies. Yes, they have that in Tokyo. They have that in China. But yeah, when it comes to computers and different things like that, they're like 5 years ahead of us in the computer industry. And that's just consumer grade of what we're actually, not necessarily professional grade and military grade, but they're consumer grade technology and computers and whatnot. They're 5 years ahead of us. Not so much business and corporate, and definitely not military, because military is like 10 years ahead of us. Yep, in a momento, por favor.
Did you get a vibration?
Yep. Oh, here we go. No, in a momento, por favor.
But it is while you're looking it up, it is amazing how fast technology is advancing day after day.
Yeah, it very much is. You're absolutely right. But it's impossible to say where they're going to be at in the next, 2 years, in the next 2 weeks, really. Just with how fast they're doing things, and you've got the whole quantum computing and everything else. We're even shifting our technology based in with computing. So there's just so many things that they're working on right now, and research that they're doing. It's impossible to say where we're going to be at in 5 years. We may completely get away with silicone-based processing and computing in 5 years. Completely get away from it. Who knows?
I'm waiting for the holodeck, man. Just like on Star Trek.
Yeah?
To where you just walk in the room and you're already in it. you're already in the game or the program or whatever you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even just flat, you know, the you seen Lawnmower Man?
Long time ago, yes.
Yeah, you know, like that whole type of world where, you know, I mean, it's a cross between, you know, virtual reality and the Matrix, to where it's that type of thing, but done just through virtual reality, not so much as a, you know, a plug it in and then you're in it, you know, kind of a thing. But I mean, even still, man, I mean, it's just, you know, Lawnmower Man with virtual reality communities and even stuff like that. I mean, dude, they're even talking, you know, like actual surrogate robots.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen articles on that, and I'm like, dude, I've seen that movie. It's like it didn't end well.
No.
You know, I mean,
But
it's like, come on, guys, you know.
We talked about that on the show previously, you know, going down the road of where they can take this stuff, and, you know, think about people who are paralyzed or just brain dead or you know, just laying in a hospital bed and not ever going to be able to move again or get up or whatever, transferring their consciousness into a machine.
No, I mean, you
or
can
a
totally,
robot.
you know, I mean, they can reconstruct spinal cords now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they really can. I mean, the technology is there, especially with the nanotechnology and you know, different aspects on that. They can do. I mean, if they can transplant a head from one guy onto a body of another, then they can totally reconstruct a spinal cord.
Right.
You know, they've done it to a monkey. They did it to a monkey a long time ago over in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I mean, if they can do that, then yeah, they can totally do the other. You know,
Right.
so I mean, paralyzed, it shouldn't even be a thing anymore. And with how the advancement of prosthetics and whatnot goes, with, you know, having robotic prosthetics that's even connected to your nerves and nervous system, you know, I mean, even that kind of thing, you know, being paralyzed or being a you know, an amputee, it's a thing of the past with
Right.
with how they're going in technology. I mean, it really is amazing.
Or just downloading, like we talked about before, just downloading raw information into your head, just like on the Matrix. You know, you want to be a doctor? Boom, you're a doctor.
Right.
You know, it's wild how things are progressing.
You know, there's a movie out right now. A movie out is it out right now? I think it's out right now. You know, one of them science fiction that's not so much science fiction, because this is technology and whatnot that they are working on doing, but transferring somebody's consciousness from one, I don't know if it was from a life form to another life, you know, a body, you know, like a cloned body or whatever that didn't have consciousness, transferring consciousness into it, or if it was a robot type of thing. I have no idea. But I mean, in a matter of speaking, that's one of the things that they're already working on doing, more so for the preservation of information more than anything else.
Right.
You know, with, you know, mapping out the brain and transferring of consciousness in order to, you know, preserve information.
Yeah.
You know,
I still want them to be able to, like,
it's in the space station.
download your brain, your thoughts, your memories into a system to where it shows it on the big screen.
Oh hell no. No, I don't want anything to do with that.
This is the new ho-ho show.
Oh, hell no.
Extra explicit.
Oh, good God. Could you imagine? Oh, wow. No, thank you. No, thank you.
There are pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's one of them things that with how much technology has gone, I mean, it really is one of them things, and I'm excited to see what we come up with in the next, 5 years.
Right.
But it's impossible to say where we're going to be at. I mean, it really is. But, I mean, really, but even still, in a matter of speaking, you want to know what it's going to be like, in 5 years. I mean, look at what China is doing today. You know, I mean, as far as consumer grade computing goes, that's a very good indicator as to see where we're going to be. You know,
from the days of Pong to where we're at now is amazing.
Right. Putting on VR goggles and watching a stinking movie in virtual reality right there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very, very awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still waiting for the, which you see this even now. And of course, the first movie that even offered this was a hilarious movie. I watched the movie several times on its original VHS and in DVD. But I'm still waiting for the interactive movie experience.
1995.
Clue.
Oh, Clue? Yeah, that would be a good one.
Clue was the first interactive, you know, you pick the ending.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you pick the scenario. I'm still waiting for those type of experiences in movies.
Yeah.
You know, hey, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? And more or less bring in, the audience per se, include them into the movie experience.
That was a kind of a startup thing back in the mid 90s. They were talking about doing that, and then for some reason, I have no clue why, it just dropped off the map.
Oh, production cost.
Yeah. 1995, I had a movie. It was a PC game called Silent Steel.
Mm-hmm.
It was an actual movie. But every so often, it would break, and you'd have to pick option 1, 2, or 3. And whatever option you pick, direct the way the movie was going to go.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, you picked the bad choice, and the movie, you all blew up, and you died, and the movie ended.
I mean, now I don't see something like that in with a live action movie, something like that, because production cost would go through the roof. Because I mean, you would basically have to more or less film
a few different movies,
5 movies at the same time and release it as one work of art.
Right,
is what you would basically have to do. Okay, so the production cost on that would be huge. Mm-hmm. Your ability to get that money back would be extremely limited.
Right.
Now, something like that being done as far as a computer animated movie, absolutely. Which is very feasible to do. Because, yes, you would still have the 5 movies rolled into one, but you wouldn't have near the production cost.
Right.
Near the production cost. So that would be feasible on that aspect. And in which case, like what you said, I mean, they have done that in the past.
Yeah.
But I would still love to see something like that, because that would just be fun. It'd be neat. even if it was on a small scale, like even if it only had 2 or 3 different options, 2 or 3 different places throughout the movie, that would be neat. Especially in horror movies. Don't open the door. Don't open the... Clicking the button. Don't open the stinking door. Good, thank you. Screw it. Open the door. Yeah. So
originally, back then in the test theaters, mm-hmm. They would have the audience. They'd have like a little control pad, and the most votes for each choice that was the choice that would happen.
I've heard about those too. Yeah. Definitely a unique video game experience. It would definitely be a very unique video game experience. But it's just that it's very unfeasible to do it, just because of the cost of production. It's not a feasible option to do. It's not a good way to do a movie.
Right.
Not a good way to do a movie.
Speaking of movies, have you heard any more about your Quentin Tarantino?
No, I haven't.
Star Trek.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything else pop up about it. I haven't heard anything else about it. I hadn't seen, any more talks on it whatsoever. So I don't know. I hope it becomes a thing. I really would like to see, what Quentin Tarantino does with the Star Trek movie. That would just be pretty stinking cool,
But you still don't want him doing a Game of Thrones movie.
No, I don't want him to do a Game of Thrones. I don't want him to do Game of Thrones any more than you want him to do Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to face it. No, you don't want him to do a Battlestar Galactica.
No.
exactly. I don't want him to do that anymore. You don't want him to do Battlestar Galactica anymore, and I want him to do Game of Thrones because it's just not Quentin's cup of tea.
Right.
Not at all.
Any word on Star Wars 9?
Is that the Solo one?
No, that'll be the next.
You mean like Star Wars Episode 9?
The main.
I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, the only thing that I have heard anything on so far within the Star Wars universe is, of course, with the Solo, and then, of course, there's still talks of the Darth Vader one, but that's more or less a fandom movie, which even still is a fandom movie. I would still watch it. It's not going to be available, necessarily, DVD. And it's definitely not anything that's going to hit the box office. But, heck yeah, I'd watch it.
Right.
But Solo, yes, I haven't heard anything as far as an Episode 9 goes. I don't know. Haven't heard anything on it.
Cool. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Haven't heard where they're going. Haven't heard what they're doing.
Any other movie news?
No, that pretty well covers it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got homework for you that you need to watch When Mars Attacks. That was a awesome, hilarious movie I think you would really love. Trust me.
Can I handle the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
That was good. Yeah, he said that Jack Nicholson is in there, so, had to throw a little bit of Jack Nicholson humor. At least I didn't call him Miss Ratchet. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was a strange movie. Did you ever see that movie?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. That was a strange movie. It was a good movie, but that was a very strange movie. Very young Jack Nicholson. Very strange movie.
See, that's one bad thing about video stores going on the decline when they used to have VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm.
You can go in there and get some B-rated movie that you never heard of. That was basically totally crap, but very weird movies.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that anymore, it seems like.
No, but you can still find them elsewhere, though. You can still... A lot of them movies are still available on digital form through, different places.
Right.
Then, of course, you can still buy them for, relatively next to nothing through places like Amazon and, renting it, not necessarily so much of a thing.
Yeah.
When
you just want to see something totally off the wall or whatever, and just pick
but
it for $1 and just go grab it,
True, but for...
Shields up.
Shields are at 100%. Oh my God!
Well, I believe that's the curtain call there, ho ho.
Oh heck no! All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are viewing out there, we have our biohazard masks on right now. Somebody just nuked us with biological warfare. They declared war on us. See, what it is I had a gerbil crawl up my butt last night, and apparently he died. Which is actually good news, because could you imagine a gerbil up your butt that's still alive, trying to struggle for air? Yeah. Okay, it's safe.
Yeah, that's what you tell everybody.
I don't smell it anymore.
Why are you making that face then?
Oh. You ever gambled on a fart and lost?
Are you going to have to do part 3 of the Loose Deuce?
No. Well, the part 2 was a remake. I just had to tell the story again because I didn't video it, the first time because I wasn't doing that yet. So
part 3, Children of the Corn.
Speaking of Children of the Corn.
Uh-oh.
No, I actually don't have anything for that. That was just a good segue type of thing to throw in there. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call that the show. I thank you very much for tuning in, for joining us, for participating. I do apologize about the hiatusness of Spreaker. Hopefully, I or them can get that figured out here really soon. But for now, good night. Thank you guys very much. take it easy.
Peace.